It looks like we're live. Happy Sunday evening, we'll say. Thank you for tuning in. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community. This is a community for tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious. Join in live streams and real-world events where we offer a new option for connecting with each other to better your art, develop your skill set, and be like-minded people. So if you're new to the Tattoo Weekly, you can find us beaming out nearly every day. We've evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo and art shows that are perfect to put on in the front of your studio or entertaining your tattoo clients. You are currently watching episode number 4 of the Tattoo Weekly with Jake Meeks, Gabe Ripley, and myself, Lauren Gregory. So before we get started, I do want to say thank you to everyone for joining us on YouTube and Facebook, and a special thanks to those of you who are going to be listening to this podcast. The event schedule and all notifications can be found in our official Reinventing community at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. You can also search for and download the Reinventing the Tattoo app, found in both app stores, Apple and Google Play, or directly, like I said, at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. There you'll find all of our network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, webinars. I could go on and on. All of that is stored in our library, as well as our YouTube and podcast channels. There's countless tattoo and art rabbit holes that are, like I said, perfect to put on in the front room of your studio. In fact, actually now we're going to be beaming out 4 channels live at reinventing247.com. And that is totally cool. Basically, all the stuff that you've seen or can find in our live is always streaming. While you're at reinventing247.com, up for a goodie bag from Cheyenne Tattoo Equipment, Raw Pigments, and D-Lies Pro. I think we'll go ahead and jump into some of our highlights. This is a highlight show. We talk about some of our favorite current events, some things that are intriguing. We'll pull some stuff out from the archives, and you'll hear from Jake with his Fireside Tattoo, Gabe from Tattoo Now, and myself from Reinventing the Tattoo. All right, gentlemen, how are you doing this? I'd love to hear from you. I haven't gotten to talk to you too much today. How you doing?
Yeah, that was a great intro. I think I was going to question whether or not we've gotten any better over 4 episodes, but your intro convinced me that we have. So good job. Yeah, that was super clean. Yeah, I'm great. I just got back in town today. I actually took about a 2-hour power nap because I had to be up. Had to be up at 3 o'clock. Did you? I had to be up at 3 a.m. to catch my flight back from Virginia Beach to the deep South, Memphis, Tennessee, and so I'm refreshed. I have my old fashioned, and I'm ready to catch up on the week, share what Fireside's been doing this week, and I don't know, see where the conversation takes us. You know what I think we need? I feel like it would be more of a news show if I had multiple camera angles where you could say like, it's August 1st, 2021. And then you turn to the second camera, right? And this is the Tattoo Weekly. So
wait, we have an intro.
Oh yeah, you want to play it?
Let's show everybody
let's see
our official intro.
Oh wait, we need to turn our cameras off now. Or you can't turn them off for us, can you?
No, I cannot.
All right, we'll do it.
Welcome to the Tattoo Weekly.
Okay. We have an official intro. The music makes my ears want to bleed a little bit, but it's okay. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just
Jake, your mic's off.
I was just saying that I've learned to turn my mic off whenever we're playing stuff, but now I have to remember to turn it back on. I was just gonna say we Nick Baxter got a little promo in that video. I didn't notice that the first time around. In the Fireside part, there's a little thumbnail of Nick.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I was putting together like the live clips, and so it's like one of the people, and then sometimes it was switching over, and ultimately I picked clips that I had available that I could put right in. It was it'll evolve with time.
I'm sure he won't mind being promoted, or being in the intro. So
I saw that too. I saw the little bit of his name, so that was really cool.
Yeah. So what? So I've kind of missed a lot of this week. I was out of town. The three of us didn't communicate like normal. So I don't really know. I'm a little bit in the dark about what happened in the worlds of Tattoo Now and Reinventing the Tattoo and events. And I'm just kick back and listen. Who's talking first today?
Lauren, why don't you go first today?
Yeah. Sure. We didn't that we sometimes do, but I would say a few things that have happened. Last week I got to speak to Tony Urbana, a cool show with some special guests. That was fun. This week my highlight will be showing you from Russ Abbott. He popped in with Forrest G while he was tattooing to the Tattoo Collecting podcast. So super cool. It was really cool for people to get their questions answered who are watching and beaming in from YouTube, and just the opportunity to actually ask Russ something in his element was really cool, unique experience. I do want to touch on a couple topics. I was going to talk about Phil's daughter Lola and how she's doing. A lot of us are interested and curious, optimistic about her. So I'll touch on those things. And there's a story that Gabe had shown me, and I do want to talk to about that, which I'll probably start with. Do you guys want to do kind of a roundtable question before we get started, Gabe?
Yeah, I was just the question I was gonna or the topic was, I didn't map it out earlier, but I was thinking about conventions just because there's some traveling that seems to be coming up. Some of it, I don't know, it seems a little loose. I'm wondering if anybody's you've been hitting conventions. I'm about to not cancel a convention. I'm about to not go to a convention that I was tentatively planning on. I guess I'm just figured maybe that would be a good topic to hit up, and if anybody's in let us know how it's working for you. And if you're going to any tattoo conventions, or if you were just at any tattoo conventions, let us know in the comments. Oh, I want to check out the Facebook to see if the Facebooks are working. Sorry.
Yeah, and next weekend I will be going to Dallas, and I will probably be streaming out from there for the weekly show. I think they're really optimistic, and I think people are more optimistic about things that are new and different. For those guys, they have some really cool awards that I've not seen. I can think of really anywhere. I can pull them up for. But J.W. Mundell, if you follow him, he's got some really cool workstations that he makes, and so he's basically getting super creative for awards there. I think that'll be like a big factor.
Awesome.
Is it bringing people out?
I always end up running around at the last minute trying to come up with awards for any of the shows because I just can't prioritize it in my head. We did a show in Venice once where we decided to just go with one contest, the best in show, and but sure enough, all of a sudden it's Saturday, and I'm looking at the schedule, the list of events for the next day, and I'm like, there's a tattoo. We're doing the contest tomorrow, and I'm like, we don't have awards. Holy shit, we only have one fucking contest and we didn't get an award. Okay, so wait, let's see. We've got Lloyd says hello from Wisconsin. Renee says hello. Hello from France. Pouquet. Okay, so people, it is working inside of the Facebooks. L Barra 703, Flames in the YouTubes.
Let me say hello to Lloyd, you guys. I'm also based in Wisconsin, so you should tell us where you're beaming in from. That'd be super cool.
Awesome.
That best of show in Venice, Paul Booth won the best of show at that, and I was in the middle of podcasting with him at that point, and I had to stop in the middle of my podcast to let him go.
Those would be some fun interviews to break out with as highlights.
Yeah.
Those were fun. We did paintings in with the tattoo. So I think that he won the best in show. We must have had second and third, or because we had two paintings also won awards from that.
Okay, yeah. I remember his tattoo. It was crazy. It was like a full front leg sleeve. It was enormous, and he did it in one day. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was always amazing. Like those shows are just such a treat, especially in the last couple of years now. It's I definitely appreciated it at the time. Not being able to travel for a while now, it's like, oh man, I can't wait to do shit like that again.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So wait, so what was the question? What was there a question, or it was just about
Well,
getting
what do you have? So Lauren's been going to some conventions, has some coming up. You just got back from getting tattooed. What other tattoo travel do you have?
Just excited about the Paradise BYOB. That's the most immediate thing that I have. We were considering Brussels, but opted out. I have too many other trips scheduled. I have other trips that aren't related to tattooing. I do a business mentorship in Toronto quarterly,
Yeah.
and it's been virtual for the last year and a half. And starting in November, we go back in person in Toronto, which I'm super excited about. I'm so
Awesome.
burnt out on the virtual mentorships,
Sure. And you do that, is it 4 times a year?
4 times a year. Yeah. 4 trips to Toronto a year. Really, really awesome. I love it. I've been doing it for, I think this is my 5th year, and it's all, I'm the only tattooer in the group, but there are people from all walks of life, but more in financial services, insurance, more traditional, businesses.
Sure.
But you learn a lot.
Awesome.
You learn a lot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But that's what the majority of my travel. The next thing that I know of for sure, after Paradise, which we haven't talked much about outside of this show. We haven't talked about it on Fireside, our involvement in Paradise, but I'm excited to be sponsoring it and presenting it along with you, and doing a seminar and podcasting and whatever else we can squeeze in. The presenter list seems to keep getting stronger and stronger every time you update it. So if everyone hasn't checked that out yet, it's just paradisebyob.com.
Yeah, very excited. We did lose Bob. Bob's going to be doing some rock and roll and preparing for, I think, a tour. He was saying. I don't want to talk too much about it, but
how can we compete with rock and roll? Man, there's no chance.
But we did. Let's see. So Jesse Levitt, though, he'll be. He signed on to do his seminar, which is great because a lot of people have been asking for a really long time.
Yeah.
And Mike DeVries, I think, since I just need to make a new video and whatnot. But so I've been working on that. I did an interview with Nick Mitchell, and I think that's one of the clips that I have here from last week. Nick's an awesome caricature artist, and he could render good. Like a fucking maniac. He's bonkers fucking with his rendering skills, and he exaggerates things. So I did an interview with him. Doing an interview with Mike DeVries coming up this week on Wednesday. Pretty excited about. I updated a bunch of the Reinventing the Tattoo Business. I almost included a clip of that, and maybe next week I'll be a little bit more in tune because I could pick out a clip that's applicable to everybody. But I uploaded about an hour's worth of videos for the communication section of the Reinventing the Tattoo Business course, and people have been signing up for it. So it's like I really need to get with that a little bit more.
Yeah, that's all super exciting. I mentioned to Andy Chambers, who's tattooing me. That's why I was out of town this last week. That the Paradise was happening this year, and he was super stoked. Was going to try to find a way to make it. I told him that he needed to reach out and teach his, if not this year, then definitely next year, teach his advanced sleeve design seminar because it's next level. It's really, really great.
Wicked excited. Yeah, Andy's so badass. He's great. We got to get some of his clips from his interviews and show his pictures. His tattoos are so pretty. What else? We have hello from India, hello from Spain,
nice.
Collado and Ankit.
Look at that. Rich Wren is on. He says Pennsylvania here. Rich is in my highlights for this week. So
awesome. Should we? So that was our topic. So conventions, and then I guess I don't know. I'm trying to figure out LA. I'm heading out to Hyperspace in September, and I was going to catch the Golden State show. And now, just with all the craziness, I don't have too many brain cells. I don't want to get sick, and I am vaccinated and all that. But I don't know. Thinking about getting on airplanes to go to conventions still freaks me out just a little bit too much right now. I think I don't know.
Yeah,
but
we'll let Lauren be our guinea pig since she's willing to run around the country.
One of the talk showy people that I really do trust said specifically that he's not canceling any of his travel. He figures that this is going to be like this for the next couple of years. So unless he was, resigned to not travel for the next couple of years, he was just going to fucking mask up and fucking do it. And I guess we'll find out.
Well, cool. Yeah, I guess that's our Paradise pitch. I think everyone should at least jump on and check it out. And we should mention that if you're not willing to get on a plane and come out, which there's limited availability anyways, it's a very small event. We're going to try to beam everything out through virtual tickets. So that's the challenge ahead of all of our cameras coming up.
I do have the schedule set up, and it is online, so people can now register for the individual seminars. They will, or many of them will also be webcast. We definitely want people to show up in person and be safe. But like you said, it's we never get a shit ton of people. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's definitely a pilgrimage to get there. Although the Albany Airport, in other news, the Albany Airport does officially say they're not going to confiscate marijuana in the airports or all of New York State. Just saying.
That's a W for me. I'm hooked.
If you're into that kind of thing, there you go.
Our Canadian friends were like, well, wait a minute, can we just, and I think, if they don't give a fuck at your airport and they don't care at the New York airport, I think that everyone's basically saying they don't care.
Yeah.
If you were planning to go to Golden State, which I'll be in Humboldt County at the end of next month, but you can fly out from airports without any problems.
Yeah, right, because LA was one of the first ones to have that. Humboldt County is cool. Damon Tesh is beaming in often, and is he doing some more script?
He said he'd like to do something maybe once a month, so we should get him on the schedule. And I'd love to do something live if he's going to be around at the end of August.
It's always fun to see the pictures from Humboldt County. We'll in the Evergreens. I think that's one of our next family trips, or that's one of the next trips that's on the target. Norway for the Northern Lights, and then the Great Redwoods.
Awesome.
Definitely beautiful. Well, if you guys want me to jump in, travel to Korea, let's talk about that a little bit. That's something that you brought up to me maybe a month ago or so about the lawmaker in Korea. Yoo Hong-jung is her name, and I could have pronounced that incorrectly, but basically I can. Let me just share my screen real quick so you guys can see how she came to Congress, which was definitely, you can see this. This is not normal.
Should we camera out?
Yeah, if you can just for a second so I can explain what's going on. These are erasable tattoos, but she showed up to the National Assembly like this, which is a big controversial topic. Yeah. She's a controversial representative as it stands anyway. So tattoos that you can easily see on the street are illegal. Tattooing it's illegal, but it can only be done by professional doctors. That's a big difference from here than in the United States. 27 of their Medical Service Act says that medical practices, including tattoos, like I said, can only be done by licensed medical personnel. But this lawmaker here has proposed that she's seeking to create a licensing system that allows non-licensed medical workers perform body art on other people. So this is really groundbreaking stuff. So according to the Korea Tattoo Association, this is as of 2017, there was an estimated basically 250,000 tattooists and beauty techs in the country. So this definitely impacts a lot of people. And I'm curious to see if you guys want to throw your camera back on, we can talk about it. Anybody in the chat, the differences and why, establishing it as a medical only situation is probably not the best idea. And what your thoughts are?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, Korea is, and this is North Korea or South Korea?
South Korea.
South Korea, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not obviously, that's a control mechanism, for the state to basically stop, tattooing or stall it for as long as possible. It's awesome, and it's amazing that people basically have to break the law to make it legal. And I imagine in Korea, it's got to be pretty intense. South Korea is not North Korea clearly, but it's definitely they did that in New York. I mean, it took years to try to get that righted.
Yeah, I wonder what the punishment is for illegal tattooing in South Korea. I wonder how harsh the punishment is.
We have people from all over the world. I wonder if we have anybody from Korea that is watching or wants to share this around. I know that some of the Facebooks get some real international audiences.
Yeah. I wonder if it's just a simple fine or if it's something more serious.
There's some amazing tattooers from South Korea. Ginger says hi, everyone. I'm very excited for her panel at the BYOB. Ginger's putting together an amazing an academic panel. But with Korea, who is it? 10,000 Foxes? 10,000. You guys know the Manu and his 10,000 Foxes studios?
I know Manu, but I'm not sure about the studio.
He's got some pretty awesome studios. One out in LA, and I believe that he's gotten some visas. He might be even opening up a studio in Korea. So this is one of the amazing, fun things about having these shows. You might, as a follow-up with this, you might catch up with Manu and say, hey, Gabe said that you might have some connections to tattooing in Korea, and maybe get him on the show to talk about it a little bit, or maybe
That would
somebody
be
from
awesome.
Korea.
I wonder if this is the first time that someone's actually introduced a bill to their assembly like this, or not. But I think that she's actually only 28, so she's,
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't say provocative, but she's known to be a little bit controversial. So it would be cool if she made any headway in there for people like Manu who are or may be interested.
Yeah. I did a little bit unrelated, somewhat related. I had a really great podcast interview with a guy named Yushi from, he works with Aaron Deladova at Guru several years ago. He's South Korean, ended up going to Japan to train to tattoo. But tattooed, if I remember right, I'd have to go back and listen to the episode. If I remember right, tattooed a little bit kind of under the table in South Korea first, then Japan, and then a lot of the conversation was really about that the transition from tattooing in Japan to Southern California, where he moved next. He went from Japan to LA, and just the clientele and everything. It was a really funny and interesting podcast. But yeah, South Korean that was into tattooing and wasn't able, obviously, to get his foot in the door and tattooing in his homeland, so had to find other means. And he's awesome. So if you don't know his work, Yushi Tattoo, I think he's absolutely incredible.
YUSHI. Yeah, cool.
Yushi, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah. As far as I know, he's still at Guru Tattoo in San Diego.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it's really interesting. I wonder. I haven't gotten any feedback. I'm looking on the fireside. Looking on the fireside chat, and I'm not seeing anything about anyone who knows. They're asking about tattoo machines on the fireside chat. That's cool that we were Fireside Tats, and now we have a Fireside Chat. Look at that, full circle.
Well, I can jump into my next topic. It's really just a clip from the Tattoo Collecting podcast. Some of the things that they were talking about around this time. It's a 3-hour podcast, specific on conversation, but about comfort for your client. So you'll see Forrest G getting tattooed. I'll turn my camera off real quick to show you guys some cool stuff.
Oh, now we're just putting out black. Haha. We'll that's okay. We need to get a mixer for this new Riverside thing. It's
one of the things I like the way that he worked on me, and the way that he would he wasn't aggressive with the way that he handled me, but like when he would like with his stretching hand, with his left hand, he would like just hold me down with his whole hand. Like he was literally like pressing down on my rib cage
applied pressure.
And like stretching the skin at the same time. But he was like, he was holding me so confidently. And like sometimes I'd be like between his torso, and like he'd have his arm holding me, and like he could just
the whole body, like he just did it on screen.
Yeah.
I don't even know what she's describing, but I don't know. Like there's a lot of, I guess, good ergonomics that I could use in tattooing, right? Like I would be better off just letting my body weight or use a stretch, right? So like if I were to stand up and push my hand here and here and just kind of put my weight on it, then I'm not muscling.
Right.
I'm not.
The life just left his lungs.
I don't like looking at the back of me, but
I wasn't vision.
It's one of the longevity and long sessions is, of course, to think about your ergonomics for you and your client, right? Like my goal isn't to make it hurt every time my hands touch you, but I'm also trying to get the tattoo done efficiently. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's I appreciate the, I don't want to say heavy stretch. I don't mean it that way, because I just, on lack of a better term, it's almost comforting. Hey, this is the area we're getting ready to hit, and be calm. Like it's I enjoy that slow, hard.
All right. All right. So if you guys can hear me now, Gabe.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know about that. Maybe a little bit of feedback from you and Jake too, on keeping your client comfortable. And if I forget if it was Guy who suggested getting tattooed or Gabe, tattooed in your own chair so that you can experience those types of things.
Yeah. Yeah. This is something I focus on a lot all the time. Only
Yeah.
doing one big tattoo a day and working off of a day rate, which for my area is on the high end of day rates. And so I've learned over the years of doing this that it's, it's a lot about the tattoo that they leave with, but it's just as much about the experience that they had when they were there. And I couldn't see the guy who was talking that said that he appreciates the pressure because it lets him know where you're going to be next. I find that when you surprise people by moving to a new area, that's whenever you're kind of starting over. So, if you can kind of let them know in one way or another, and usually the best way is with, where you're wiping, how you're placing your hand, and it kind of prepares them for where you're going to be. And so I think a lot of times, like over time, you start to do that intuitively. But, I do things like, whenever I'm going to wipe someone, before I wipe, I just go cold and, and then I wipe. And then at least they're prepared for the wipe, because if they're not looking at me, they didn't see me wet a new paper towel or, or whatever. And so, yeah, I think and I'm with them also on kind of the pressure, like a good solid stretch that kind of holds them in place. It kind of makes you feel, I don't know, comfortable or, comforted at least, or stable, or whatever it is. I experienced it this last week. I got my entire, from my ribs down to my past my knee, tattooed by Andy Chambers, and he's good about that. And just like I know where he's going to be. He doesn't really jump around on me a lot. I can tell by his hand placement and the way that he's working. Like I'm prepared, and I know kind of what the process is as we go. And it goes beyond that. I think it goes like from the, making sure that they feel free to take breaks when they need them. They're not trying to like hold on until you're at a stopping point so that they can go to the bathroom. Like I want people to, if they have to go to the bathroom, I just want them to be able to be comfortable saying, hey, when you get to a stopping point, can I jump up and use the bathroom, or stretch my back, or my hip is starting to ache, or, whatever. Yeah, all that. I think it's as important as your skill set as a tattooer is your bedside manner, without question.
Yeah, I absolutely would agree with that. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, tattoos hurt, right? But I think that they still hurt, right? Even if the tattooers trying their best to make sure that it is as comfortable as possible. I mean, all that really means is that you get more out of the tattoo. It starts to hurt, like just at a different spot, really, for the client. So there's still like that authentic. You're going to earn your tattoo, even if Russ or Jake or Guy or whoever is, taking care to make sure that they're hurting you as little as possible. Yeah, and people like Guy's a tremendous influence in that regard. People are making the pilgrimage out there. He's not getting any walk-ins if his client taps out. And sometimes he'll tattoo people 2 or 3, often 2 days in a row, sometimes 3. I did 3 days in a row. I might not ever do 3 days in a row again if I don't need to. But yeah, I mean, I think that client care, to Jake's point, the experience, they're going to remember that experience for the rest of their lives. And if it was something that was uncomfortable with, shitty music blaring at them, with, stinky cigarette smelling, tattooers who just don't give a shit about the client's time, that's, a thing. It used to work for tattooers to be able to do that in the past because of the way that supply and demand worked. It's not like that now. There's too many awesome tattooers who want to deliver a great experience that, that I think that's really, and it is a positive shift in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It is a shift. It wasn't something that when I started tattooing was even a thing. I didn't know anyone that cared about bedside manner or the way they were trying to get people in and out of a tattoo chair. In fact, my former co-host David Evans, who was on the first 100 episodes of Fireside with me, was the first person to ever introduce me to that kind of bedside manner, just through the way that he interacted with people. And it was just his personality. He's just a really great guy who's concerned with everyone, whether or not he's tattooing them. But it came across so well in his tattoos. And he did my first sleeve back in the late 90s. And it was a completely different experience than anything I had been through in my apprenticeship. It was not it was not ever about the client during my apprenticeship. It was always about getting the client, getting the tattoo done, getting paid, and moving on. And now, that would be a hard way to work. You have to be really good to pull that off now.
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing. There's so many different types of artists. There's the ones that like gently brush it under the skin, and it barely, you barely feel it again until hour 5 or 6, and then it's hard not to feel it. And then there's people that I remember. I don't know if she still tattoos like this, but Ivana used to just be like, "You are going to take it," and it came out awesome, and it was there the first time. But yeah,
I've been tattooed by a German like that, and it was 9 hours of that, exactly like that. Throw in metal music on top.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say I'd like to go back and watch all of that episode. It's 3 hours long.
Yeah, every Thursday they do about roughly 3 hours. So the week before we had Tony from the True Tubes team. That was pretty interesting because him and
Tony Terrell, I saw that.
Yeah, that was cool to hear from him.
Awesome. Yeah, he's great.
Yep. So that was episode number he's watching, and then 47 was Russ Abbott.
Jake, you've got some comments in here in the chat room. I think it's Ganjuana. Says you're too nice, Jake. Tell him to wear a diaper. We're going hard with a crying smiley face. There's a.
I don't have it in me. I'm too kind-hearted for that. I can't do it. They're all. Do
you use
friends,
any lidocaine or anything, or
I use Bactine to a fault. I use 2 full bottles of Bactine in my Nalgene bottle for every tattoo. I don't even wipe with soap. I only wipe with Bactine. I mean, occasionally, whenever I need to wipe everything down, I'll use Dr. Bronner's soap or something. But I wipe with straight Bactine, and people sit. They're more comfortable in hour 5 than they were in hour 1. And we watch Netflix all day, and we, drink coffee or whatever we want to drink, and hang out. Nice. Have a good day.
Did you catch that trick from Ensminger? I know Ensminger, or at least he used to dilute it. I don't know if he was just going straight back to him.
He did. That's exactly who I got it from. My first session, he did my torso years ago. In my first session, I thought I was going to have to quit because he doesn't use it on the first session because it will wipe the stencil away. So, so the first session he just lined it, and it was brutal. And I thought, man, I don't know if I could do that. And he said, well, next session, just bring 2 bottles of Bactine with you. And he used straight Bactine, and the rest of the tattoo was as good as it could be with him. He's not he definitely has the more old school mentality outside of the Bactine. He gets in there and he's efficient, and he's running the machine pretty hard, and no bedside manner. He's gruff.
Nice. Ginger's in the chat room. We have great viewers, great participants. She says, Google says there's a fine of $950 for tattooing and not being a medical personnel in South Korea.
Oh, thanks.
So, there we go.
There you go. Yeah.
And Bruno is also in the chat room. He says, good evening.
Hey, Bruno.
Good evening. Yeah. So $950. Yeah, that could get expensive pretty fast.
And that would be, I wonder, for I'm assuming the practitioner, if there's any sort of fine for wearing it. It said that easily visible tattoos are also illegal. So, proactive on moving forward with that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what did you have anything else, Lauren?
I was going to touch on Phil, but maybe we could do that in the closing after you guys show. I've got a clip loaded for Gabe if you'd like me to roll a vintage piece.
Oh yeah, sure. So this is one of the tent talks with Penny Funk and Rob and Brian. They're talking about collecting vintage memorabilia, which is it's always fun. There's not. Oh wait, how do I do this here? I share my screen.
I've got it loaded too. If you want.
Oh, you've got it loaded, so you're just gonna fire it up. Perfect. Okay, so I'm loaded.
All right, here we go.
You got the book. No, I got bit for sure. I got the book. I get a lot of people will send me a friend request and he'll say, whatever. And then I accept their friendship and they say, oh, by the way, do you have any business cards and stuff that you can mail me to Istanbul? Yeah, it's in the mail now.
Yeah.
Send me something with stamps on it.
Yeah.
I don't even know these people. Something. Yeah, it's in the mail.
Yeah.
Oh, people.
Yeah, people are goofy. People are real goofy, especially over
it's like,
collectible
I
stuff.
want to. Well, if you want to collect stuff, you're calling. You want a friend request from me for me to send you something that's going to cost me postage. It's on its way.
Yeah, right.
It's just-
Exactly. And people are crazy, man. Especially if they know you collect stuff or you have items. Like you said, I've had people like I've joined a Facebook page, and at first I used to post what I had or what I would like. If I got some, I'd post and just to show the community. And then the next thing you know, you have like 5 or 6 people hit you up, direct message you or instant message you or private message you. How much was that? Where can you get that at? You want to sell me that? I'm like, oh, fuck, I want to sell it. I want to sell it on the sell page.
Yourself, yeah.
Yeah, I was showing you guys. I was just trying to share it with the community.
Yeah.
So I quit posting all my stuff. It was like, holy shit, you guys are crazy. Yeah.
It brings the crazies out.
Yeah, I only post what I want you to see that I have, or on a forum that I'm selling. And speaking of that, though, if anybody like you, Brian, or you, Penny, you have stuff that you want to get rid of, and you want to, you don't want to barter with people, you don't want to get all crazy, you just want to put the item and put the price and be done with it. Now that you guys are members of Reinventing the Tattoo, on there's a spot where they have marketplace for people that can put stuff. Like I put looking for Zeiss tattoo frames, looking for Flash, looking for stuff, and then people will reach out to me and say, "Hey, Rob, I got this," or "I'm looking for this," or stuff like that. So if you do have stuff that you guys want to have in historical stuff, people will be able to reach out to you on there and buy stuff from you right straight through the app and through Marketplace. And one of the good things about it is you post it, you put the picture, you put the description, and then you get to talk to the person individual, and you get the money your way, however you want, maybe through Cash App, PayPal, Bitcoin, cash, check, however you do your business. There's a formula for it that they got. So yeah, check into that too. So I know you guys are deep into
I just want to tell you, this is a really, really cool site, because I was watching some of the videos earlier. I saw one with you and Judy Parker.
Yeah.
Which I got a tattoo from Judy Parker. I couldn't walk for 3 days. It was on my foot. All my ankles are bad. But I think she really is a cool person. Very nice, very talented artist, and she's awesome.
Yeah, look at hold on, let me show you something real quick if I can.
How am I doing, Lori?
Yes. Since you mentioned Judy, I'll show you something I just got from Judy last week.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, those tent talks are awesome. Yeah, he was mentioning there's a Judy Parker one that's kind of in the replay there. It is just amazing, like just the variety of characters. I mean, real world people characters that come through, and Penny's obviously got amazing stories. She's really blunt to the point, very funny. That's the tent talk with Penny Funk. Somewhere is in the archives. It's great.
So talked to Rob recently. His next guest will be, and I could be saying it wrong, but he's a tattoo machine. So that'll be really cool to hear from him too.
Awesome.
Yeah, super
very cool. Okay, so the next clip, and I think I'll have to share it from this end, is the Nick Mitchell fella.
Oh yeah.
And he's a caricature artist. Let's see, so screen one. Wait, no, Chrome tab. Oh shit.
And share your audio.
Yeah, Chrome tab, share audio. Nick MP4, share audio. Okay, camera off.
You could always mute your mic too if you want to avoid those little clicks.
Okay, well, Nick, I definitely want to thank you for bringing your energies up to the BYOB. You have such a rich background artistically already. Having you inspire more tattooers is going to be great. But we'll talk a little bit about the seminar and all of that kind of on the tail end. There's a lot of interesting things that you have going on before we even start plugging, the seminars and stuff. First off, I still hate you. I spent the last like 15 years trying to tell my daughter that hate was too powerful of a word to give power over somebody else. I don't want you to hate me.
I don't hate anybody. It was just one of those things that when Nick Mitchell hates you, I just thought it sounded funny. You know,
Well, the contrast has been a pleasant surprise. You've always been, you know, a sparkling personality, but it does fit, you know, with the zombies and stuff. So I just have, you know, the pictures kind of lined up. I'm not even sure what order they're in, but why don't we start off? You chat a little bit about some of your history as an illustrator, as a caricature artist, and then yeah, well, I'll show off some of your pictures, and we can see where the conversation leads us.
Yeah, I mean, as far as caricatures go, I got my start in Tampa, Florida, Busch Gardens. I was working for a contracting company out of that park, running caricatures and face painting, all the artsy stuff inside the theme park, pretty much. And just fell in love with it. I just fell in love with the ability that you have to exaggerate people's features to the limit, still magically make it look like them. You know, so I did the theme parks for a number of years, and then stepped down and started doing special events, everything from like, you know, weddings to the Super Bowl, the birthday parties, just different special events hopping around town.
And so how old were you? Like what age ranges were you for the when you were doing the caricatures at the amusement parks and stuff? Is that like one of your first jobs or?
Yeah, first job as an artist. Yeah, so that was the age of 19 to about 27, 28. I was the assistant manager there. Yeah, from there, went ahead and hopped on to doing special events and then zombie caricatures later on. So caricatures have been, nonstop since, you know, even with the tattoo. I'm trying to incorporate more of the caricatures in my tattoo work now.
Sure. And what mediums were you doing the caricatures in?
In the theme parks, it was permanent marker, black permanent marker, and colored pencils to color with. Same thing with the zombie caricatures as well. And then now I'm starting to do digital.
Cool. I just want to have people are saying nice things in the chat rooms. I guess I just want to make sure that while these things are going out, everyone's hearing everything, because we are on a new setup, but it seems so far so good. Cool. And so now, did you find that those mediums, the marker medium, because is it less forgiving? I mean, obviously, if you put a mark down on a tattoo, like you're putting it down on someone's body. Was marker a good training for you, or?
I think so. I think it was a good setup. I mean, toward the end, I was using a brush tip marker, which is very pressure sensitive. So you have to kind of get used to holding your hand up, because I mean, if you push too hard, that tip's going to just be flimsy. So I think that helped with, you know, keeping needle depth when it came to doing line work on actual skin. And just that one-shot deal. It's like, that's it. There's no erasing. There's no going back. So, I mean, it kind of went parallel as well when it came to tattooing. And as far as like coloring, you know, when it comes, I don't know, it's crazy. I think when it comes to, you know, working with a dry medium and working on skin, it's like a mix of both wet and dry medium together. So, I mean, it's, you know, you put it down into the skin, it's permanently there, it's there right away, but you're still able to work with that water pigment, you know, so it's kind of like a weird middle ground. But I think starting off with colored pencil definitely, you know, helped bridge a gap to transition into tattooing.
Yeah, he's really really good. I don't know him, but we were tattooing fairly close together at the last Richmond convention, and he was working on a big leg piece that obviously was existing. And so I saw a big chunk of it that was healed, and then a big chunk that he had worked on for like 2 days in a row that was fresh. And I mean, all of it was flawless. It was all so good. The healed stuff was like butter. The fresh stuff was, you know, wasn't irritated at all. All these muted, I can't remember, it was some type of zombie-ish thing. There may have been like a zombie-ish kind of dog or something, or some books in it. But it was just the most buttery, soft palette. So nice, man. The guy's awesome. Really good.
Yeah, you know, when people are able to pick up gigs like doing art, before they're tattooing, or, you know, clearly, or, you know, and again, kind of in his case, just having that the job where every day you're making caricatures.
Yeah.
I know that like Joe Capobianco used to do spray painting the jackets, you know, or, you know, right out of high school, right in the get-go, just learning those technical skills of how to render every day. you know, that's, you know, it's obviously helps tremendously because tattooers draw every day.
Yeah. That was great. I'll be excited to see what he brings. And what's his seminar going to be on at Paradise?
Caricatures and, you know, pushing and pulling and,
that's awesome.
you know, and then, what the full descriptions and everything are going up. Well, not tonight because I'm doing this, but I'll be working on it tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's see. And then I've got, are we doing 3 clips? 2 clips,
yeah,
3 clips?
Whatever you have. I only have 2 this week, but feel free.
This one's like another 2-minute one. This is the like a preview of the interview with Mike DeVries with his 3D, with his amazing 3D tattoos. Okay, let's see here. We'll get our video switching down here. Okay, so Chrome tab, Mike DeVries, share. Okay, camera off. Welcome to Reinventing the Tattoo. This is the Reinventing YouTube channel, and my name is Gabe Ripley. I am here to let you know that we have a special upcoming Tattoo Now show on August 4th. It is Mike DeVries, and we'll be doing an interview with him at 12 noon, and he's going to be talking about his 3D tattoos. As you can see, Mike DeVries is a pretty awesome tattooer. He's been tattooing realism. This tattoo here is like 15 years old. He was teaching realism tattooing back in the day using his brain. He's very good at dissecting what he does. And this is some more recent work. He will be, actually coming up to the BYOB, Paradise BYOB, October 3rd to the 6th. But this is about the interview. August 4th, 12 noon, we'll have a live interview with him. And Mike DeVries, he's got a couple different companies. He's obviously clearly knows how to render. And tons of people have learned so much from his DVDs. We're very excited to be presenting his new workshop and his new seminar, and particularly in rendering 3D tattoos. He will be doing the first day that is a seminar. So he's got like a presentation, gives a talk, and goes through his process. And then the second day is the workshop. You need to take the first day, so you go through his process. But then the second day is a workshop where he's got fake skins, or you have fake skins, and you will be rendering out tattoos on the fake skins to achieve these effects. He's got it all down to his formulas and stuff. This is at the Paradise BYOB. He's done a couple other places too. And when we talk on Wednesday, August 4th at 12 noon, a live event, we'll be talking about all sorts of stuff. Probably get into a lot of businessy things. He's got his wipeouts and tattoo shop and all sorts of stuff. I'm pretty psyched about the 3D rendering tattoo workshop we're talking about. And okay. So if you are on the YouTubes, click on the things around or down below, and you will get to the full interview. It's live August 4th, but if you just click on the thing, if it's you pass the date, you'll just get to watch the replay. Okay, it's fun to catch up with Mike. He's one of the oldest Tattoo Now clients. We've had a website with him forever, and we're currently reworking on it, revamping to new modern technologies and whatnot. But anyways, it's Mike DeVries. It's always fun. Like his work is just always so killer. It's great.
That'll be an interesting seminar. I wonder how you teach that stylistically. That I wonder if he's going to get into a lot of technique or just a lot of like theory and how to visualize what you're looking at. Because the way to obviously the way to draw or tattoo something believable is to forget what it is that you're drawing and focus on the abstractions inside of it.
Sure.
If you start thinking about a Jolly Rancher, you will not draw a Jolly Rancher.
No, absolutely.
I wonder how he's going to present that. I'd be interested to know.
Well, I think that's why he's got his like 2-day thing going on. So like the first day he's going through his process. Like I said, it's like a presentation. I think he recently did it down at Jesse Smith's shop, maybe. And then the second day is when I believe they're actually making full-on stencils. They'll be tattooing the fake skins and kind of walking through that process, with him right there. And no tattooing on people, just a fake skin, so we don't have to worry about health inspectors or anything.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait for this event. It's going to be great.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got to book a flight. I still haven't even booked my flight. Maybe tonight.
It's not a horrible drive.
A drive for you?
I'm going to be driving from Wisconsin because I'm bringing a lot of my equipment that I don't want to stick on a plane.
Oh,
so
man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very well documented. There's a lot. Thank you for bringing all the gear. There's a couple sets of people bringing really awesome gear.
Nice. That'll be great.
I think honestly, looking at your lineup, but I think we touched on this last week. We've got Fawn and Jordan, Haley, you, Jake, all of us, Jason, all of us kind of geek out on some of that tech stuff. Oh, did you see this? And if you watch that episode, slider that's on a timer that he used during the podcast. Basically, he set it to like 1.5 minutes, and it could zoom in or around for that time. So I think aside from all the education, we'll have some really nice tech trade-offs and questions answered.
I guess I just need to put that. Jake, you're thinking of maybe doing a seminar or a panel, or what are we going to do on that?
We totally could. I mean, I would not be the expert, but I could definitely manage the panel if we wanted to all share. I was talking about doing a talk on podcasting. I scrapped that idea, but I would love to do. I'd love to do a panel there.
Well, let's do a panel then.
Especially
it doesn't necessarily have to be for the public.
Yeah, that would be super cool. I love all that stuff, man. I geek out on it too. I'm not great at any of it, but I'm always on YouTube learning it. And I've come so close to buying those automatic sliders that Russ has that just kind of, it's super cool just for a second shot. It's just always kind of moving around your guest and it basically just mounts to a tripod. They're not super expensive, a few $100.
Man, we got to get that shit. We got to get the drone to hover outside the window, so we could always have the outdoor window shot.
Yeah. How cool would that be? Man, that would be great. We should definitely try to squeeze in some time to do a gear panel, because it really doesn't just apply to podcasters. Everyone is recording themselves tattooing these days.
Absolutely.
For TikTok or for whatever it is.
100%.
So everyone would love to learn more, and there are all different levels that a lot of that stuff you can do for a super low budget, and then a lot of stuff takes a lot of money. So,
it's crazy, the new phones, man. The new phones. That's all I have to say as far as portable streaming stations. It's crazy.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah,
well, cool. Was that?
On that production, I'm not saying I'll do the panel or whatever, but some of that tech production that we're kind of all at an even playing field a little bit, whereas with tattooing you could have a 25-year veteran versus an apprentice. There's a big gap in the tattooing, but when it comes to tech, it's pretty relatable for across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there are so many options out there to solve really great audio video kind of problems that you can't possibly know about even a fraction of them. So it's amazing how often I'm podcasting with someone, they're like, "Oh, are you using such and such?" and I have never even heard of it, and they're the guest on the show. And I'm like, "No, what is that?" So happens all the time. But well, all right, was that it for your stuff, Gabe? I don't have
that was 3.
Okay, well, I'll jump in. We have I'm going to go through. I'm going to highlight our last week's show and then our upcoming show for this week. So if you haven't been listening to Fireside or to this show the last few weeks, I've been focused on illustrative tattooing and storytelling through tattooing over the last month or so. And I'm trying to find some of my favorite illustrative style tattooers and reach out and just kind of pick apart some of their processes and find commonalities, similarities, or differences, or just to dig in and see what we get from people. It's kind of like a Tim Ferriss thing where he tries to break down the common traits of exceptional people or whatever. So that was kind of the idea here. So I'm going to start by highlighting last week's episode with Rich Wren. And I first met Rich several years back at a convention in Oregon at Joshua Carlton's show, the Evergreen Tattoo Invitational. And I was immediately kind of caught by he just had a ton of drawings at his station. They were all super cool, really unique, ready to be tattooed. Obviously, he was booked the entire weekend doing these really awesome pre-made designs that he had completely come up with on his own. And that thing has always kind of intrigued me. We also talked to Teresa Sharp about that, this creating a lot of your own imagery and selling that to clients rather than working with clients through the consultation process. And a lot of times at a convention, that's really one of the great things that you can get away with doing, is just making a bunch of pre-made stuff and selling it off. So let me see if I can remember how to do this. Here we go. Trend share audio. I'm going to give this a shot. Turn my camera off.
Yeah, I think doing a lot of the research for references and everything also helps, because I start to develop a picture in my mind what I want it to look like, how I'd like it to lay, and what elements I can use to like better, curve with the body, or what I can add into it that makes it more fun or whatever. Like while looking for those references, the picture starts to develop in my head, and then I just draw it out in its entirety. And then while drawing it out, realize that, oh, wow, it'd be really cool if I went this way. I'll do that in the next one, and then I just draw a second one.
Yeah. So there we go. So what Rich was talking about there was just his tendency he just draws so much. And so he'll draw multiple versions of the same tattoo to give his client, more options. And we talked a little bit about that, about how that mindset has kind of changed a lot over the years, where a lot of times tattooers don't even show the drawing to the client until they're getting the tattoo, until the day of. And I think, if I remember right, what Rich was saying is like, he really doesn't even draw it until right then. But if they don't like something about it, he's just competent enough to turn around and draw another version of it. Or if they question something, he'll just sit down and start to sketch it out a second time. And so I think that's one of the great benefits to drawing, to using similar subject matter and being really confident kind of in your mark making, is that he's able just to take a theme and present it multiple ways really quickly and kind of iterate over and over. So, and hopefully, are you guys there? Or am I doing this on my own? All right.
Yeah, it's great.
Hopefully.
He's amazing. It was amazing to have him hop on some of these morning shows too.
Well, and Rich, I don't know if you're still, I haven't looked to see if he's still, he was watching on our he commented on the fireside chat earlier, but I don't know if he's still watching or not, but he had mentioned that he would like to take a kind of a bigger role in tattoo education, or kind of sharing his process, and was asking how I thought he could best contribute. And I told him to reach out to you and see if there was a good fit, to test it out without having to try to buy a bunch of stuff and start a YouTube channel or whatever, or build a following. There's no reason to go through all that if you're just kind of testing the waters. And so I think he would be a great addition to any kind of team, like learning. Team. So,
it's not an insignificant amount of mind space or energy, but if he's down, of course, whenever we'll be here.
Yeah. So my next clip. So if you haven't seen that, just go to firesidetattoo.com. You can watch the video at YouTube. It's also on all of the audio only, iTunes, Stitcher, Pandora, all of them, Spotify, wherever you go, you can find it. You can find the audio or the video version. My next episode is someone who you may or may not know. I'm really, really excited about it. It's one of the biggest artistic influences of my life. His name is Adam Shaw, and he's from my town. He doesn't live here anymore, but he grew up here in Memphis. And we went to the same elementary school. He was 4 years ahead of me, maybe 3. We went to the same high school, but he was a senior when I was a freshman, and he transferred out to like a specialty art school early in the year. And so I never got to work with him or draw with him. He was always this guy who was just the best artist that I had seen, that was just a little bit out of my reach. I was just a little too young. And when I was at Memphis College of Art in the late 90s, he came in and did a brown bag lunch talk, where basically, you could bring your own lunch, go to the auditorium, and a professional artist would come in and share their portfolio and talk about what they do. and he was doing a lot. He was doing his own comics for. He had a comic called Bloodstream at the time that I think it was about that time through Dark Horse, and then he was also starting to illustrate a lot of pulp book covers. Did a lot of storyboarding for movies and commercials and things like that, and I've just always been super influenced by him. So he was one of the first people that I decided to reach out to whenever I was starting this illustrative series. We've gotten to be friends, obviously, over the years. We spent a lot of time painting together as I got older and became a professional artist myself. And I've learned so much doing life drawing with him. We will go to painting workshops together and things like that. And he's always been such a great influence. So I'm gonna pull him up here. Yeah, we definitely need someone else to do this part of the whatever you call what I'm doing right now.
I think one way to do that is when you're putting your reference together, like put a filter on there, that's really blurry, and make sure, those shapes are working, just even before you start putting in your detail. And when I'm painting, if I'm doing an actual oil painting or acrylic, the shapes start that way anyway. For me, I'm always working as if I'm looking at a big slide on the wall, and it starts out of focus and then slowly comes into focus. So I'm adding detail everywhere as I go. There are a lot of painters that are just starting on one side of the canvas and detailing out until they reach the other side. And I've never been able to do that.
Great work. Holy Moses.
Oh man, he's so good. He's so good. He the thing that I learned from him, and what I used to do, he had this awesome studio in Memphis, and we would get like maybe 5 or 6 people together, and we would split the cost of a model for the night, and he would draw in charcoal, and so I started drawing in charcoal, and I would set up just off to his left shoulder behind him, and I would watch how he started to lay out the piece, and it was like he's one of those guys that like even his gestural marks, like they showed the form perfectly. You could tell like how the person was sitting or standing, where the light was coming from, like their almost like their energy right off the bat. Within 2 minutes of laying out the drawing, you could tell if they were like slouched over. You could almost see their facial expression before they even had a head walked in, And he's just such a naturally gifted guy, and he just the way that he simplifies form is it taught me more than I learned through all of art school. And in fact, our first foundations course, Fireside Foundations, which is a foundation drawing course for tattooers, I partnered with him on it because he draws so efficiently. He did all of the drawings for that course, and I put a camera over his shoulder, and then I just voice overed what he was doing. And I still think that course is awesome. It's available on our site. It's super cheap. It's like $30 or something. If you guys haven't bought foundations, we're actually doing a revamp of it that is more about tattooing and less about foundation drawing. But that original course is so good because of just watching him draw. Just watching how he puts how he assembles shapes and values and edges and makes them all come together seamlessly. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That's this coming Wednesday. Okay, he's the best.
Awesome. It's been a great series, man, for sure.
Yeah, thanks. I've really enjoyed it. I'm learning a ton. We got a few other folks coming up on it after Adam. Jesse Smith's going to do one with us, awesome. So that'll be a really good one. Yeah. And Coop, The Superstition. If you guys don't follow The Superstition, he's going to do one. And Andy Chambers is going to do one. Andy and I did an entire workshop on illustrative tattooing, so I already kind of know what he's going to talk about, but everyone else doesn't. So
right.
Yeah. So, but that's it. That's it for me. That's all I have going. I've been trying to do a little like blast from the past, but I've forgotten that the last 2 weeks. Just some type of little episode that that kind of hasn't been seen in years. But I'm going to try to go through, and my buddy Scott has been helping me with all of these, putting these things together. I'm going to get him to go through and do 6 or 8 of those at once, so that we just have a bank of them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff from the archives that I'm thinking about with Reinventing. Those that I've liked that we can definitely pull back. And I'm only thinking, 6 months back, but there are a lot of cool stuff.
There's
Yeah,
I was looking today at 7:45 after my wife woke me up from my nap. I slept like 3 hours last night, so I needed it. But
yeah.
there's 250, nearly 275 shows on the Reinventing channel
Oh wow.
since January. One of the things I was thinking, maybe as we're wrapping up, we could do like the blatant call out. Hey, this is actually show number 4. Maybe we should find some like sponsors.
Maybe we should.
You know, it's like a tattoo shop or a supply company or just a couple of people that we had talked about getting together a package that's like Sundays and Mondays, or if we just do try to get this show.
Yeah, maybe do some giveaways for whoever tunes in and has something interesting to contribute. Who knows?
Yeah. So if anybody is interested in sponsoring the Tattoo Weekly as a particular show, maybe not quite ready to do the monthlies on either Fireside or Reinventing, it's a nice, easy couple $100. I don't know, 300, 500. I guess we'll figure it out.
I would imagine at this point it's at a lower price, a lower barrier to entry than
Get locked in now.
Fireside or Reinventing. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. So, Lauren, you were going to bring up Phil Garcia's.
Oh
daughter,
yeah.
I wanted to touch. I wanted to touch on about that with other people. I'm probably not going to pull it up right now, but I was going to just talk about a little bit of, for example, what the recovery could be, and I could be totally wrong.
Let's start at the very beginning for a lot of people that are just tuning in that don't know. It's a horrible story, but
Sure. So Phil and their little 9-year-old daughter, Lola, Havana Garcia, she suffered a spinal stroke in her C2, C4 region. So that would be pretty traumatic. We'll just say she's quadriplegic, unable to breathe on her own. She's scheduled for what I think that would have been last week, a trachectomy, as well as a feeding tube. So as a parent, I have a little girl myself, and it just definitely is not a situation I've been in before, but I know that the way that the tattoo community just was there immediately was something that's very, very good for everybody to see. So that
and Phil's, he's been very supportive of the tattoo community and the culture and contributing, and a really good person, and
an incredible artist, great person.
It's really horrible for his daughter. It sounds like like you were saying, his daughter must be going through some pretty crazy experiences.
He did make a recent post today with a video from her. And then I was reading a little bit, like I just kind of talked about the recovery, that it's definitely something that requires a lot of optimism. And I don't know their exact particular, after a spinal stroke, there's, you could definitely surprise doctors. It's all of the research that I've seen, it's kind of inconclusive. That she's going to have a really long road ahead, but definitely one of the strongest 9-year-olds I've ever seen.
Yeah. So,
and then there's a GoFundMe, or how could people help?
Yep. If you'd like to help, you can go on Phil's page, and a lot of other artists have been contributing with that link in their profile as well. You could otherwise look it up for Lola Garcia.
What's his link? What's his how would people find him?
Phil Garcia 805 on Instagram. And if you want, I can go.
Yeah.
So, can definitely jump on and support her and their entire family. The GoFundMe is here.
One of the most promising things with something like that is just her age, and one thing that I personally, I don't share a lot. I don't share a lot of personal stuff on Fireside, obviously, but I my son at 17.
No, we can turn our cameras on, Jake.
Okay, my son at 17 was in a pretty bad car wreck. He was a passenger in a car, and he suffered a traumatic brain injury, and he lived with that for 15 months. And same thing, trach, feeding tube. Couldn't communicate, couldn't move, couldn't do anything on his own, and unfortunately it didn't work for him. But this was 10 years ago. But the one thing that they said, just because of his age and condition, they all of the neurologists and other doctors, doctor after doctor that we worked with over 15 months, the way that things like stem cells or and I don't know in her situation obviously, but the way that that science was moving there's a really, really great chance for young people to overcome things that seem like they're not, that you can't possibly overcome them. Whereas, and the doctors even said, like, if he were your age, I wouldn't give him any chance at all, but only because of his age and his physical condition. I think that, that he has a chance. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for us, but hopefully it will for Phil and the Garcia family, because that's devastating. I feel it right now talking about it. I remember it vividly. You can't get, once you've experienced that feeling, you can't get away from it. It's devastating.
Unimaginable.
Yeah. So good luck to the Garcias. I'm sure everything will work out for the best. Tough.
Okay.
All right.
It's hard to move on from that, but hopefully everyone could send their positive vibes that way. And remember to live every day to its fullest, because we need to.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, there's no way to put an outro on that.
No, but again, let's go and hug everybody and be very thankful.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to everybody next week. We're going to keep doing this then.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks everybody for watching. Yeah. That was actually, this show went so much smoother than any other show that we've done, I feel like. So
that is the truth.
If we were just faster with our hands getting the clips to come up, I don't know. We have to work that out.
Jake, next week, just send them over to me, and
I'll start doing that. That's what I'll do. So cool. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you to everybody tuning in.
Thanks.
Don't close your window, Jake.